Okay, today's topic is medical physics and radiation risks. This is the chapter 1 of Granger and Allison. Now, what is what are the things to be covered today are deterministic and stochastic effects, fetal exposure, principles of radiation protection, standard dose optimized and low dose, CTDI, DLP, AEC, and scan thin, read thick principle. Now, what is deterministic and what is stochastic effect? Deterministic effect is basically when uh, it is a direct effect of radiation in which the radiation falls on the cells and causes its death. It is dependent on a threshold value that is below which it does not occur, and it leads to generally changes like erythema, epilation, cataracts in the eyes, and also it can lead to azoospermia. Whereas stochastic effects are the ones which affect the DNA and are the ones which cause a change over a period of time with depending on the dose. So as the dose increases, the stochastic effects increase. This is basically cancer which occurs with the radiation risks. Fetal exposure. Now, what is the maximum amount of fetal exposure beyond which it can cause damage to the fetus? It is generally 100 milligray. And principles of radiation protections are basically three, which is first is justification, second is optimization, and third is limitation. Justification is basically you have to justify that this patient needs radiation at all. So if you really needs the radiation, then only you have to give it. Second is optimization. Optimization is basically we give a dose only to that amount which will give you an optimum good study and not more than that. And limitation is we limit the total dose to the maximum legal permitted level. Then what is standard dose? Standard dose is the dose which is recommended by the manufacturer of the CT scan machine or the X-ray machine, and which gives you a good film. Optimized dose is lower than the standard dose and is generally given to give you an optimum study which has a slightly high noise ratio compared to the standard dose, but the radiation level is low. Low dose is the one which gives you a radiation level equal to the ones in which will be given if serial X-ray films are taken to examine that part. So if you are examining, suppose, the brain, and if you take an X-ray skull, now the amount of X-ray which is required to get an X-ray skull, if that amount of X-ray is given in a CT scan machine, then that's really a low dose study. The noise ratio is obviously higher and the images are not good. CTDI, volumetric CT dosimetry index, is basically a measure of the amount of radiation given by the machine which is absorbed by the patient. Now this is measured by using two polymethyl methacrylate drum which has one central hole and four peripheral holes, and one is of 16 centimeter, another is of 32 centimeter. The 16 centimeter drum measure represents the head and the 32 centimeter drum represents the body. When radiation is given, it will help us to determine how much radiation is being absorbed by the drum. DLP is nothing but the CT dosimetric index multiplied by the acquisition height, that is the height at which the machine is present from the patient's body. That is the dose length product. AEC is automated exposure control, which is basically a device or software rather, which determines the amount of dose which is being given to the patient which is like differs with the shape of the body. So if a patient is obese, then the amount of radiation is given more. Patient is thin, the amount of radiation is given less. Also, as the patient's body's shape changes over the entire length, suppose the abdomen is fat, then as you go into pelvic region, the fat is less, so we will change the radiation accordingly. Scan thin, read thick principle means that we take sub-millimeter slices, but we combine them and read them as 3 to 5 millimeter sizes. Thank you. That brings to the end of this chapter. Please like or subscribe to my channel for further videos.